Like, I think that's very racist to even think like that and say something like that.
Yeah, I don't understand why the number one thing that I keep seeing, especially on CNN, my God, is that Latinos are not supporting illegal immigration. Why do y'all automatically assume that we want illegal people here? Like, not all of us are illegal. So I think it's funny. They're like, "Oh, your abuelo and your abuela is going to be deported." Sweetheart, we're all born here. What are you talking about? So I don't understand why they keep having this rhetoric that just because we're Hispanic, we automatically are supposed to support illegal immigration.
No, they
Get
gotta
out.
come in here the
You're being
right way.
deported. Bye. Out.
It's
They gotta come in
it's
here
the
the right
Simple as
sympathy
way.
thing.
that.
People that came over here illegally, like you have to follow the rules. You have to follow the law. There are people that I have friends who still aren't necessarily citizens that are still on school and work visas here because they can't be here legally yet. They haven't gone through the entire process. And yet you can hop a gate, which isn't even a gate anymore, whatever you want to call it, and come over here and get all of these benefits. And I'm sorry, the illegal immigrant sympathizers, that's why I'm like, I'm not understanding what the confusion is about this. Trump won fair and square. You said you voted for Trump, Victor, but that's why I was confused with the hostility because it's
Oh no,
like,
it's just I don't agree with a lot of his policies. Like everybody's saying illegal immigrants. Everybody that's not a Native American in America is an illegal immigrant. Some of us just didn't come here of our own free will.
No, no, no.
That's
You
we
know what we're
fact.
understand
talking about.
colonization
No,
happened, but we
No.
have to get
no,
past that. We have
no.
checks and balances. We are a nation.
Those
Like,
before laws
we
were
understand that.
established.
We acknowledge that. But
I'm
to
ready for that conversation. I
We
get
are
it.
American
we get
citizens.
that.
Bottom line, there's no only this is on this original land Native Americans. We are. If you
Way
here
past
legal, you're American citizen. I don't want to hear none of that. Oh, everybody's over here. That's not supposed to be over
yeah.
here.
That's
That's
not
just
the
Yeah,
point.
the
tribalism is
point.
a part of history. That's kind of what happens. The
Yeah.
strongest win.
And
That's
it's a
it.
fact. It's
And
a
I wanted
fact.
to ask, since you're from New York, were you upset when they kicked out all of these kids out of school to house the migrants? Were you mad about that? Because that was a
Yeah,
thing
and it's
too.
an apartment complex, not even 4 or 5 blocks off of 82nd, where we don't have to get into that. That'll be all day. It's bad. It's bad.
So
You can go on YouTube and look up 500 videos where they're doing this every day. They're robbing stores. They've shut down the Target off of Bay Parkway. They shut down all of this shit because, excuse my language, they shut down a whole lot of stuff because people keep running in the stores and robbing. And they
And
do it in broad
literally
daylight.
here just to
wait,
destroy America. A lot of them not even here to be American. They're here to destroy America. I honestly believe that something is gonna happen. I can feel it. I feel like before they get sent back, something is gonna happen. I honestly feel like we have terrorists in this country right now.
They caught a few. They caught a few already. They
And
already
this is what I'm
did.
gonna say. As a black man, whoever's a black man, for you to vote for this shit, like y'all niggas is weird. Y'all
For you to
are
vote for
around too
grown men
many
to be in the
freaking
bathrooms with
women.
your daughters,
Yeah.
like
And
that's
that's why I want
weird.
to know where the
Weird.
stance is because that's why I'm just confused. Like I want to know what is your
It's a lot
stance?
of politics I just don't agree with. It's like a lot
so
of his politics I don't agree
Victor,
with.
what's the policies you don't agree with, bro? That's what we want to hear. You keep saying it back to back. What's the policies, bro? It shouldn't take that long.
Nah, I want to state this absolutely correctly because I don't want it to be no wiggle room or no fluff.
Okay.
When you tell people that you're going to raise finance for all middle class families, which is something he has said on his campaign trail, right? And then people ask you how you're going to do it, and you say you're going to drill oil. He said it's trickle down. I own a business. Money don't really trickle down ever. That's not how business works. You own it. Come on, bro. You know that shit. You pay motherfuckers, excuse me, you pay people that work for you enough to not complain. You don't pay, if you make $100,000 this month, you're not going to raise their salary just because you made $100,000. If you make
Who don't?
$500,000, they get the same pay. There's
Who
no
don't?
such thing as trickle down. That is
Who
not
don't?
real.
If anybody was tuned into my show today, anybody, I don't know if anybody was on this panel that was tuned into my show today. What did
No,
I
sir.
say that the starting salary was for the new jobs that I'm offering?
100K, six figures,
110. Yeah.
So
100.
I'm not really sure
six
what you're talking
figures.
about.
That's
Mr.
amazing. That's a good thing. But any other major corporation of business in America, hit Ford, General Motors, right there where you at, they're not trickling down.
Yes, they are.
Brother, it costs 20 some odd $1,000 to make a car. I'm sorry, to sell a car, and they make them for how much? They
Which
don't,
is
that
one,
money
which
doesn't
is
go
one,
down.
which is one of the reasons why we needed tariffs
Exactly. They don't make
in
them
order
here.
to prevent people from flooding the market, including the steel industry and the automotive industry, with cheap products so that you can then build out the American economy with more workers and more manufacturing by bringing everything home instead of having people flooded through Mexico, from China, from the tariffs that Biden left in place and that Trump wants to continue to reinforce. So, you know, I don't really know where you getting your logic. Well, it's not really my question. What else don't you agree with?
Donald Trump is going to impose tariffs on China when most of the products that he sells are made in China? When he got his steel for his buildings from China? I mean, seriously, I understand what the man says, but what he does and what he says don't align.
How don't it when that's exactly what he did in his last administration? 2016 to 2020, he's the only president in our time that actually implemented imposed tariffs and renegotiated the North American Free Trade Agreement. What are you talking about? That's what he did in the last time that he was in office. He renegotiated the North American Free Trade Agreement. He saved the steel industry, and I know because I used to work in the steel industry, and I still got friends at Local 600. And he imposed the tariffs that Biden then left in place because we have an imbalance when it comes to the trade war and the trade deficit that America has because we continue on to prop up economies outside of the United States of America. What are you talking about?
You keep talking about, okay, not a trade deficit. You keep jumping subjects. The deficit went up under him, just like it went up under Kamala.
The trade deficit is much different than the financial deficit of the United States of America. Trade deficit means that it's an imbalance between how much that we are giving and sending versus what they're shipping. That's the trade deficit. That means that they're making money on our economy, whereas when we go over to China, we have to partner with their businesses and they still are proprietary technology. And at the same time, they're being subsidized by the federal government like BYD and their steel industry in order to upend the American economy. The national debt and the trade deficit is two different things.
I know that.
So why are you saying it?
When you said the deficit, go ahead.
The trade deficit is much different than the national deficit, than the national debt.
Why do Donald Trump have? Why do y'all want him to put all the plans like in detail on the table right now in front of y'all when we know that the Democrats is in the back working and trying to find out what he's gonna be up to and how he's gonna do it so they can cut it, so they can get in between it.
Doesn't he have a
house? Not even giving the man a chance to even. We're messed up right now. So you got two options. You want to get better or you want to stay the same. All I'm hearing is y'all want to stay the same just so this man who got 3 different wives can't be in office. It's not making sense. It's not making sense. He's not gonna put his whole plan out on the table right now, or maybe when the inauguration drop. He's not gonna do it immediately. Some things have to be done without us even really knowing about it. Some of this stuff has to be secretive.
They're already trying to sabotage it. They're already trying to sabotage it.
They can't sabotage anything he's doing. Doesn't he have the House
in the Senate? They're already talking about giving $6 billion to Ukraine before Trump gets into office.
Right. They're already but Todd, we also got places like the governors or whoever it is that's in these blue states that won, like California. They're trying to find ways to get in between him and make things hard. Well, not in New York because that's the only mayor that's on board, but California is trying to make it hard. Tim Walz, wherever he from, goofy state, trying to make it
Minnesota.
Hard. You understand what I'm saying? So everybody, they're already showing you. They talk about it on CNN all the time. We trying to find ways to sabotage this man. We trying to find ways to make him look stupid. We trying to get I told you so moment. You know what I'm saying?
Does he need help look stupid?
They even talking about asking for Biden to step down just so Kamala could at least have a month or 2 as president.
That's the dumbest shit ever. That shit's
insane. I swear to God, y'all gotta be. It has to be some type of COVID shot because y'all are insane. I just can't believe it no more.
I want to ask Ty something. Right quick. Look here, bro.
What's up?
So this is one thing that Trump was saying a lot. He always kept saying the fake news. You have to admit, bro, when you see how CNN, MSNBC, all these other channels was showing like it was so close, and then she get swept. This is what he was saying about fake news, bro. You have to admit that you've seen you don't get swept. But they CNN, everybody tell everybody it was close. That was crazy. That was a royal sweep.
Their shaming tactics didn't work this time.
I've never complained about the election results, though. I actually question the people that do, like Charlamagne and the other clip. It's amazing to me that he won the popular vote and obviously electoral college.
Landslide.
I'm not questioning that. I'm just questioning how is he in there in the first place? That was
Because
my question.
Americans are tired,
Your
Ty.
president is supposed to
We
have
don't have any
integrity.
money. The middle class,
He has fake
the businesses,
universities,
middle
stuff
class
like that,
businesses are
robbing
falling,
people.
which is what hold up the country. The middle class businesses are very important. They're falling down. They're going away. You got these little thugs running around here smashing and grabbing stuff that people worked
You
hard
think
for.
Trump is going to prevent that, Ava?
Yes, he is.
Already
Yes,
starting
he already
now.
put it down and say he's
Hamas
going to
already
do
talking
stop and
about they
frisk.
stepping down.
Stop and frisk. I think stop and frisk is the most amazing things to come back to America because y'all children are running around here terrorizing upstanding citizens. You understand? Like this has to stop. Nobody's scared of the police anymore, and that's insane. We need to bring some fear back into this country because y'all not doing y'all job at home as parents, and your children running around here destroying stuff that costs people hundreds of thousands of dollars to build. And it's not cool. So yes, we need Donald Trump in office. We need to make America great again. We need to give law enforcement back the power. We need to stop the FDA from poisoning our children because y'all children walking around here with autism and ADHD, and y'all walking around here with the same thing, and you don't know your kids got it because you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, hold on, y'all. Let's shoot our brother some bail. All right. I have a theory, and I just believe that it's two things that affect black men, that then have them leaning the way that they lean. I think number one is women, because we can't not love being around women, and so a lot of times they make their decisions based off of the femininity that's around them. And then I think the next thing is that they just not really open to being educated about the truth, to be honest with you. And so I don't even blame them a lot of times. I really just blame their culture. I blame their circumstances. Sometimes I blame their mother and their grandmothers and their parents. You know what I'm saying? But I know that most men that I talk to that then tend to lean towards being a Democrat, either they've been programmed to think that way and they've never ever been open to the possibility of even looking at it differently. And so that's just the way that they voted their entire life. They can lie to you and say, well, yeah, I've looked at both candidates. They never have. They never did. They never considered it. And they've never voted Republican in their entire life. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care how they lie to you. They've always leaned into being liberal with their views, even though they're conservative with their pocketbooks. And so until it hits them, a lot of times for black men, what happens is they got to get there and then they got to lose it all in order for them to have that epiphany moment. It's not until they get there. If they poor or if they from the hood, they're going to be that way. If they get it and they lose it, then they have the epiphany. But it's not until they suffer through it in order for them to have that epiphany moment. They got to suffer. And that's what men have to do. A lot of men have been coddled. A lot of men haven't really been through it as far as financially suffering, getting there to the pinnacle, making a lot of money and then suffering. And so until you actually have that experience, for a lot of them, they'll never be able to change. And they're going to be that way until they die. They're going to be old, grumpy black men that keep talking about racism that they ain't never really experienced in their life. And they're going to continue to lean into these liberal policies. So y'all got to understand, it's just a difference. It's a fundamental difference in the way that you raise and your cultural norms. We've been shamed into believing it, and you have to have a strong fucking mind to even be open to the possibility of thinking differently. You got to be look. Think about it like this. I see Ty right here, right? No shade to Ty whatsoever. I'm glad that you're here. Ty is throwing all of these ad hominem attacks. That's things that women do. Everything Ty is listing is an ad hominem attack. But I guarantee you this. For all of the companies or all of the revenue that Ty has ever generated, he's never vetted the person that writes his checks as much as he's vetting Trump. The things that affect you on a daily basis, we sit there and we say, listen, I want to play identity politics and I want to make sure that this person has the greatest character of all time in order for me to vote for him, and they trying to justify their vote that way. But they get up every fucking day and they go and work for the white man. Every day, whenever they get a job interview, whenever they get a check, they never vet the CEO of their company to determine whether or not they're going to work for that company in order to get that check. And so it's selective outrage. It's It's an emotional aspect that plays into them because now they have the choice to choose for themselves. They have the choice to choose for themselves. And when they choose for themselves, the difference between leaning into your masculinity and leaning into your femininity, a lot of times is based off of whether you use your emotions to make a decision versus using logic as to how it's going to affect the people that then depend on you. And so if you don't have anybody depend on you, if you don't have no daughters or no sons or whatever, and you want them to not be having tampons inside of their bathrooms, or if you haven't suffered through it and got there and lost it and got it all back, you're never going to have that epiphany moment. And that's why that we keep passing generational curses and this plantation mentality onto the next generation, because we're taught that. We didn't learn that. We didn't discover that for ourselves. No black man discovered liberalism and said, I want that. That don't even make, now think about this.
It's programmed.
No black man that I know went and did his research and says, I love reproductive rights and removing unwanted babies as a form of contraception. I love come on. No black man does research and say, I like this lifestyle. Unless he's a bottom. Nobody.
It's for black women too, are also programmed that way. I mean, everyone I grew up with and that I'm around, all the black people that I'm around, it very much was when I was growing up, Republicans are racist, vote Democrat straight down the line. Democrats are for black people. That is how I was raised the entire time. And that's how most of my family still is. It took me about a year after voting for Biden. And that's also when my first son was born. So it's kind of like, and I became a stay-at-home mom. And so all these things kind of tied in together at the same time. And I started paying attention to different people and listening to different outlets that wouldn't be allowed for me to listen to, inside my dad's home or, around, much of my black family, because I'd be looked at the way they look at Candace Owens or any other black woman that ties themselves to the Republican Party, or even just slightly has a disagreement with the Democrats. They start looking at you differently, and they start shaming you and saying, what's wrong with you? And the panic of the people around me that are around me. And I'm just like, are you guys seriously like that concerned right now? Like, to me, I really want to laugh when they're on the line, like freaking out, talking about like, oh, I'm so worried. Like, what's he gonna do? Are we gonna lose our rights? Are we gonna be back in slavery?
The first two, 3 things that he did, appointing his cabinet, was put 2 great women in place.
Mm-hmm. They don't see that. They don't see that.
UN Council and Chief of Staff. Then he got RFK Jr., who was not even of the Republican Party, to go and fix your fucking food.
Mm-hmm. It all boils down to
food and the poison that they feeding us in the FDA. Like,
and I've shared
you
all of
it. Ask for a more straightforward, dedicated, really true patriot that didn't
black
even
people are racist though. So a lot of black people are racist though. So they hold a grudge against any sort of white man that has any sort of power, and so it's internalized. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That is not true. That is not true.
It doesn't matter how much I show them.
To a degree, everyone. Yes.
No one knows.
Wait. How's everybody racist?
Bias, yes. I don't think everyone's racist.
Everyone has their that word you use. Everyone has your biases and everyone has your racist tendencies. Everybody. There's not a person that's exempt from that. There's
I gotta be real. Black people. I know y'all said okay.
So you
black people can't be racist, man. They can be prejudiced.
Wait.
Yes,
black people can definitely be racist.
I was just about to say that. How are people changing the definition of racism? Like, I've heard that so many times. Racism is racism. That's it.
Hold on. So you saying that you're racist, Victor, then, right?
Everyone is racist in a way. Everybody. Don't do that.
Let's be direct. So are you
don't
racist?
Do that. Everybody.
No, we're not gonna have it as a blanket statement. We're gonna address it directly.
I think it's more of a bias.
No.
I'm asking you a question. You asked the question. Have you ever in your life said this white motherfucker?
I won't answer your question.
That's not racist.
Right after you answer mine.
How is it not?
Are you racist?
To a degree, yes.
Okay, cool. What does to a degree mean?
To a degree. When I get in an elevator, being black and Cuban in New York, I'll see a white woman grab her purse, right? Yes?
No.
Yes, no?
No.
Oh, okay.
What does that?
Okay.
Wait. What does that have to do with you being racist?
I'm getting to that. My life experiences have led me to know how other people feel about me, so it's colored the way I feel about them. When you said something earlier, you said there's no racism. I'm gonna put it out there all the way candidly. Trump ran a very racist campaign. He still got my vote because that's please don't do that.
So you
Those are
voted for a
feelings.
racist?
You gotta get out your
How
feelings.
voted
Ain't no
for a
money in
Let him
it.
finish. Let him
I'm
finish.
not
You gotta get out your feelings. Ain't no money in it. Get out your feelings. Ain't no money in there. He ran a very racist campaign. Everybody that says he didn't, revisionist history. My colored guy, my African American, he had Hulk Hogan speak at his rally. Hulk Hogan is a known racist. Anybody will tell you, you show me who your friends are, and it'll tell me who you are. Hulk Hogan is on tape. You can look it up. Racist.
I got you on my channel and on my panel. And does that mean that I'm racist because you are?
Exactly.